Okay, arrowheads. The arrowheads should be about 1/8 of an inch long. And the easiest way to draw them is kind of like do a couple of swoops on both sides. So they're kind of thin. And then you close in the end of it. Because you want your arrowheads to be visible, but not, boom, in your face kind of big. Okay. All right. And so the rest of it works, very much the same way. The leader, you remember all your leaders for like diameter and radius should always point to the center point of the radius. Usually somewhere between a 30 and a 60-degree angle. Could be a little bit, it could go to 15 to 75 if you make that kind of extreme, but we're going to go with a 45 there. And the shoulder should be about 1/4 of an inch long, the shoulder coming out. And now we need some lettering guidelines. And so I just center 2 holes over the shoulder of the leader there. Draw me a couple of guides. And when you're having to place your dimension, like in this case, it anchors to the right. You want to write from right to left. It's a little difficult. This is a diameter 0.25. Okay, now I can darken that one in and do my arrowhead. Okay. And once you're done with your lettering, you can come back and clean up your lettering guidelines as best you can. You're not going to get all of it out of there. That's why we want to draw them very, very light. And in all actuality, I'd probably draw them lighter than what you're seeing them here. Okay. To finish it, and you'll go ahead and finish that. You don't need to watch me do lettering on dimensioning, because the others are very similar to that. Come 3/8 down and another 1/4 for those dimensions there. 3/8 down here, 3/8 over, just like that. Now down here in our title block, we got a title block and we've got notes that are come up over here to the right. And so you're going to want to put in some lettering guidelines for these things and try and match them up to, if I look at it here, 4 holes apart are on the border lines there. And so I'll just go ahead and use 1/8 inch text here and kind of do the same at the bottom, across the bottom line. Okay. Oh yeah, our notes over here, and we're not going to be able to place it like it shows there in the text. If you'll start your guidelines about even with that hidden line right there, that should work out for you. And we need 3 lines of text, so probably down about. Well, let's start with our bottom row and then work our way up. How about that? So that'll be a full line, and then we're going to skip a line because we got 2 different kind of notes going on there. And then we want to kind of move that up a little bit and go a 1/16 up. Because our top 2 rows are part of the same paragraph, so it's part of the same note. Okay, and so I've got those drawn in, and I'm going to stop the video, finish all this kinds of stuff up, and then you can, I'll come back and we'll talk about the final bit of it there. Okay, and here's the finished product. All my dimensions are in here. My notes, just like it shows in the textbook there. Title block, put the drawing name here, mounting bracket. Material, I'm saying it's a mild steel. Doesn't say that in the book, but that's what we're using. Scale, date, your name, size. Size is always the size sheet it's being drawn on. So this is an A size sheet. Because when it gets photocopied, it may get enlarged, it may get reduced. So that typically goes on there. And this is sheet 1 of 1. So there you go. That's our first drawing with that has dimensions included on it.